Damar Hamlin, minus 250 now, after making a season debut last week for the Buffalo Bills. Hamlin, minus 250. Tua is 4-1, the second choice. Lamar Jackson, 14. A pair of quarterbacks we spent a lot of time talking about in this particular market are both 18-1. They are Matthew Stafford and Shake and Bake, Baker Mayfield. TJ Watt, 22. Breece Hall at 40. Then I grabbed a couple names at 150-1, just because I think they're all a little interesting. One is Odell Beckham, who practiced again today on Thursday in a limited fashion. He's on track to play on Sunday for the Ravens on the road in Pittsburgh. Von Miller, who maybe we'll see make his season debut on Sunday for the Bills in London against the Jaguars. And the other player, 150-1. Now, this is like the coming back from being bad and coming back from being cast aside. Zach Wilson's 150-1. Those are the names that I've chosen to go with here for comeback player of the year.
Sure. Hey, never let the facts get in the way of a good story, right? Can any of these guys win? Sure, I guess, because it's whoever the media talks themselves into winning. The Hamlin thing, just real quick. I found it kind of interesting. Look, his return got covered really extensively on social media going into the game. And, you saw this, speech, he got interviewed after the game, speech he gave to the team, all this stuff. It was a really cool moment. He's back. I totally understand that. Also, he played on special teams and was active because Jordan Poyer, one of the safeties, was out. And the Bills Hamlin's the fourth safety. So there's Poyer and Micah Hyde, and then Taylor Rapp, who they added this year, and then Hamlin's the fourth one. And Hamlin didn't play any defensive snaps because Hyde and Taylor Rapp played 100% of snaps on defense. So Hamlin, although he was on the roster, on the sideline, played a couple special team snaps, but did not play any on defense. And so even given an opportunity, this is what it was. It was special teams usage and no snaps on defense, and that's it. The idea that this is some certainty is just crazy to me. He's going to go back to being inactive again. What? This is what it is? And it's still just auto 100%? No questions asked? Really? I'm really skeptical of that. I just got to be honest. I'm incredibly skeptical of that. And if we get to all the polling late in the year and I'm wrong, so be it. And I can be wrong. But man, everyone's making a big assumption right now. He's going to go back to being inactive again, probably. And then what happens to this market? Everyone else is playing. What happens? Well, I guess Baker Mayfield's not, he's on a bye. But you get the idea. The more I think about it, the more nuts I think it is. This was and by the way, everybody who told you he plays one snaps, he wins. Then if that's the case, Sunday was supposed to be this Hallmark movie, national TV coverage moment. I watched Red Zone the whole day. You know how many times they mentioned it? 0. The whole day. 0. Really, one snap he wins. They mentioned it 0 times. So just maybe he wins. That opinion is nuts. You're insane if you think that. You're just not thinking clearly. You're not thinking through the problem. It's just open. It's more open than that. Yes, he can win, but it's open. And if it's open and the prices are this, and Lamar's in it and he can't win, and Tua's in it and he can't win, and all these other guys can't win, then there's an opportunity to make bets, whether we're right or not. So that's where I'm at. I think Baker Mayfield should be the second choice in the market, and it's not close. And he's not being priced like that. He's still 25-1 in a bunch of places. And I've been adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. And he has the week off. But at the same time, if Hamlin's inactive, this is the case where do you bet the guy on the week off? If Hamlin's inactive, I don't know what's going to happen to this market. Because now we're back to how many games is he going to play? The price is going to go down. He's going to go to minus 500. He's not playing. So what does Baker Mayfield go down in that case? All the media, all the press this week, Baker Mayfield, he's in charge. It's GM goes and gives that interview he's took charge of the team in the offseason. You see where this is going. This is an easy one, honestly. He's the second choice. He is. The theme of this week is going to be, I think, a lot of sort of holding serve among the favorites. Josh Allen plays the Jags defense on a neutral field. Tua gets the Giants at home. Mahomes plays in a game with a total of 52 against the Vikings defense. Those are your three favorites. none of them are vulnerable this week. They all have like the choicest matchups you could possibly imagine to accumulate a ton of potential statistics. So there isn't like, yeah, one's going to play better and probably leapfrog the other two. You want to try to tell me which one it's going to be right now, judge it based on those three matchups? Like, those three are incredible. They could all three have really, really good stats. So I could actually see them building their lead over the other candidates. Lamar plays the Steelers in a game that's always like 10-7, and Justin Herbert isn't playing. So, like, I actually think Herbert is still alive to win this award. But, like, the story here is you should never, ever, ever bet a player to win an award, with very limited exception. I'll have one later. But you should never, ever bet a player to win an award going into a bye week, because they will accumulate nothing, and the players around them will accumulate stats, and the market will adjust. And you'd be like, well, that's stupid. Doesn't the market know they're on a bye? No, it doesn't work like that. And I know that's the stupidest thing ever, but it just doesn't. Like, Anthony Richardson was like 4, and then he wasn't going to play, and then Offensive Rookie of the Year, then he's like 9. It's like, well, didn't the market know he wasn't going to? No, it just doesn't work like that. Like, you wait for the guy to not play. You wait for the other players to accumulate stats. Awards are not the most efficient markets on planet Earth. So, like, Herbert's price is the least likely to go down of any of the candidates. So I think he's kind of live, but you would never bet him now. You'd want all these other three guys to play well, and then you'd come in later and scoop them up maybe next week when we talk about the award.
Side or total, your favorite bet for Week 5 NFL Sunday is what and why?
Titans, Colts over. And we will say, what's fair, guys? 43.5 right now. Is that good? Ken, we're in full agreement on this one.
Yep, under 44,
listening
definitely.
To the show earlier, yep, listening to the show earlier this week, heard your thoughts. Something that I would sort of add into this that has me really interested in the Colts offense, not just this week, but weeks going forward. Part of my job on a day-to-day is to read a lot of things that are published, have a lot of different sources that I go to. A lot of those are very film specific. Guys that are much smarter than I will ever be when it comes to watching football, interpreting what happens, and sort of breaking it down in ways that I could never do. And the consensus among these guys on how good Anthony Richardson has looked in this Colts offense so far, despite missing the game, as well as how well Shane Steichen is calling plays and sort of tailoring his play calling to this offense. It's just consensus agreement across the board. And I don't think that is fully sort of reflected within the betting market yet. It could be after a couple breakout games, but I certainly think they're coming for the Colts. And when you think about what the Titans do and allow opposing quarterbacks to do, that really opens up a lot of opportunity for the pass. So I think the Colts offense looks really good. I think Richardson has potential to hit a couple big plays. Believe it or not, he leads the league in explosive plays through 4 weeks, and he missed the game in there as well. So I think the Colts have a good offensive breakout. I think the Titans with Henry find a lot of success running 2 against this Colts defense. I like the over here quite a bit at 43.5.
And we talked about this earlier this week, and just we also talked about the baseball playoffs. What happens if things get crazy? Okay, the AFC playoffs. What happens if things get crazy? And that game that you were talking about, and we talked about it too, Colts Titans. Like, are these playoff teams that we're going to end up watching? Like, we know Miami or Buffalo will be that first wild card team, almost assuredly. They'll both have big records. One will win the AFC East. One will be the 5 seed. All week, we've kind of been asking people, talking about it with each other. 6 seed, 7 seed. What actually, given the schedules for every team, what kind of makes sense here? Could you see a team like the Colts with Anthony Richardson? Like you mentioned, most explosive plays he plays. Could you see them as a playoff team? Is it Houston, who we might talk about a little later in this interview? Is it chalk, which would be the Chargers and Browns? What about the AFC playoff picture here before we hit a couple more games?
Yeah, I heard you guys talking with Eric yesterday about this, and I was hoping you didn't put me on the spot, because I was honestly listening to the pod clip back this morning walking the dogs, and I was like, they're going to ask me. It's so tough to say at this point, and it's such a cop-out answer. What I will say in terms of giving any insight here, I think the Jags have some problems going on, because until they make the play caller switch, I just, that offense is really, really struggling. And it's not on Lawrence. It's on the receivers. It's on the play calling. They're the weakest division favorite in the NFL. That's problematic for Jacksonville. And so you take them out of the picture, and I think that really clouds those last 2 spots. I would say that I'm not necessarily as great as the Browns defense has been, really willing to put them in there as the chalk just because of the quarterback situation. I don't know if that's fully going to be realized on the offense. And so I would say that I would much rather be looking at the Colts or Titans to sneak in there, maybe even the Texans, more so than I would either the Browns or the Jags. That's a bad answer, but I'm not betting the chalk would be the conclusion to that question. I would go elsewhere at this point. It's a bad answer. I knew the question was coming, and I still flopped with the answer. So
that's pretty good. That's basically what we decided. Well, that's what I decided.
I was
anti-chalk is the sentiment.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, so it was a really good answer, actually. And I'm not just saying that. It actually wasn't. You ended up by saying anti. That's a great answer. Fascinated to get your thoughts on this Alabama-Texas A&M game where there were rumors about the health of Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. Bama was a 3-point road favorite in this game at A&M. That's now Bama -1 at BetMGM. I know there's picks in other places and other sports books, but again, BetMGM, Bama 1-point favorite. The total here is 46. Kanish, what about Bama and A&M and like these rumors about Jalen Milroe?
I mean, this is coming in, the whack-a-mole. You can't keep it down, baby. The Kanishimo serpent. It's all over the place now, but it's loose. You can't keep it. I think he's legit. How hurt is he? We won't know. But I tell you what, if he can't go, you're going to see this, I think, close Texas A&M as maybe 2.5, maybe 3. The play I would make out there, and this lines up perfectly with the random bet, is there's some Texas A&M division prices out there around 3 SEC West division prices 3-1 on A&M. If they win this game, which if Milroe doesn't play or he's compromised, I think they do, and I think they'll turn over to a favorite. The division is pricing correctly here. They're going to have a win over Bama, and the other teams, LSU and Memphis, they still have to play each other and all that. So I think Texas A&M, if they get this win, they'll be in pole position to take that division. And if you can get some 3-1 out there, which is available at a few places, that's the bet to make now that the numbers steam down. I think Milroe will be compromised. Give me the Ags, baby, and go get yourself a 3-1 on the division price.